Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. Greetings, and welcome one and all. Welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is the finale of our short campaign of RvR, Robot Hamlet versus Robot Richard III, a hack of Lady Blackbird by John Harper. We are all playing Shakespearean robots in space in this incredibly strange game that is hurtling where I not know, for I have no control over it. That is a player thing. And let us introduce our players one more time in this strange saga. We shall start with Dee. Hello!
Hello all, you know me, I'm Dee, or Prax as most people call me, and I use she, her pronouns, but today I'm playing the wonderful Prince of Denmark, Hamlet, and the captain of the Burbage, and he uses he, him pronouns, and apparently Hamlet was right. The dark side is a Sithfulus.
There's a certain nuance in there that one might ask questions about, but who knows? Who knows indeed what it truly is? Let us know. It's totally a virus. It's totally. Let us move now on to Hawkeye. Hail and well met!
Hail and good day to you, good sir, and everyone else out there. I'm Kentucky Hawkeye, KY Hawkeye, he, him, and I will be portraying the ever lovable, ever seeking of more food, more wine, and more merriment, the one, the only, Sir John Falstaff.
Excellent. And let us move now on to Anino. Hello!
Hey there, my name's Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be continuing my role as Mercutio, professional carouser.
Yes, excellent. Let us now move on to Kat. Hello!
Hello. I am Kat, a cleric of Cord. I am she, her, and I will be playing Sweet Kate, Bonnie Kate, Kate the Shrew. Also she, her. And if I hear Edward one more time say kiss me, Kate, I swear I'll take another head. Or Henry, or any of them.
Any of them, really. Yeah, professional shrew nonetheless.
Indeed. And a fair gunner.
This as well. This actually, yes. Very good gunner, actually. You've pretty much taken out all of the targets that you've been presented with. Up to and including Boba Fett, so that was a thing. But now, finally, let us introduce our Jedi, Sam.
Oh, hi. I'm not a Jedi.
But I play one on Twitch.
But yeah. Hey, no, you can. Sorry, my dog decided to get into the trash for the first time. I am Smaller Sam. I use she, her pronouns. Today I will be playing the Shakespearean character of Obi-Wan Kenobi, who uses he, him pronouns and knows that Sithfulus is not how it works. No,
absolutely not.
Science has proven you wrong, Kenobi. You need to just go with it. Science has proven you wrong.
I mean, to be fair, they did throw a bit of a curveball. It's perhaps not how it's supposed to work. But somehow. Those wily Sith. So yes, we have proceeded now once more onto this plane of battle. where we shall commence with the things. Before we commence with the things, however, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for any of the players, they can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that they're okay having in the game, but you don't want a graphic description of it, you can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if you're in the midst of intense role-playing and you think we might be worried you're really upset out of character, you can put an O in the chat, let us know you're okay and that we're good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is just put an O with a question mark behind it when we say or do something, and then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that and let us know that we're still doing okay. So, last time, stuff happened. So, as I recall, when we last saw the crew of the Burbage, they had made it to Jacques Bar and Grill, Jacques Station. The situation was a difficult one. One moment. Haven't quite cleared out all the lung demons from last week. Yes, by the way, I'm still slightly delirious from recovering from a flu, so this will be wonderful. Yes. I think around it was at some point that they managed to win a quick dogfight with Boba Fett, and after that they sat there at the edge of the Branagh cluster, sort of trying to decide what they were going to do. They had a number of refreshment scenes, refresh scenes where they regained their momentum. They chatted amongst each other, and they decided to do a maneuver where they would sort of slingshot around the edge of Tempest Land, which here, let me bring up the map again so folks can see what I'm talking about. Tempest Land down here, so that they could get up to just above West Side Storyland, where you want to avoid Andronicus Land. It's very dangerous. So come up around to West Side Storyland, where Hal, Henry V's army, was situated, trying to defend it as per contract during this time when basically Darth Vader and Claudius have gone to war, because it seems as though Vader has decided to try to call Claudius's bluff, if he's bluffing, that he has reproductive technology, and has decided one way or another probably it's too much of a threat to let it continue, and as a result, TIE fighters are swarming west, space west, across the asteroid belt, toward Jacques Bar and Grill, and the Olivier cluster in general, and Denmark. So they decided, as they needed to get to Jacques' station, because they wanted to pick up Catherine Parr, to try to sort of calm down the situation way over in Tudor Station, and they feel that because it's run by a prototype Henry VIII, and she felt that they felt that she would probably have the best handle on that, and also they managed to get in touch during this time with the Millennium Falcon, and I'm going to turn the music down because I've just been told it's too loud. There it is. Yes, no, I've been told that that is the case. No, wait, where am I? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so they got in touch with the Millennium Falcon. They're also managed to have a chat with Han and Leia on there, and the Episode 6 version, roughly, because Shakespeare wrote a number of plays with those characters in them, and so there are a number of different versions of them running around. They determined that when they finish what they need to do, Leia will also the Falcon will escort Catherine Parr to Tudor Station, and Leia will also hang out there for a little while, trying to help control the situation and kind of get everything sorted out. Because Henry VIII has the ability to make copies of pretty much any robot that is there. Thus far, that's only been him. So there are many of him running around. That is a situation that it was quickly realized could get out of hand real fast. So that's a thing that is going to be dealt with in one way or another. However, in the meantime, as they made this plan, they then realized that Jacques Bar and Grill had a blockade that had been placed around it by Claudius, fearing the coming of the Sith. As there was some kind of strange outbreak, they managed briefly to make contact with Lando Calrissian, who's on the Bar and Grill, because there are casinos there, so of course he was there. Yes, there were a number of these of the robot citizens there that seem to be just turning into Siths spontaneously. It's a strange thing. Is it a virus? Is this computer virus, for lack of a better term, seems to continue to spread amongst its populace. So that's probably also part of the reason, as it turns out, why there's a blockade up there. And why Claudius decided to quarantine it. But they went in. They with the aid of Henry and Henry V and the Millennium Falcon. They broke the blockade. Went in. Falcon was supposed to pick some folks up, but they weren't there. So apparently something went wrong inside. So Hamlet and crew went into the station. Whilst everyone else laid cover fire. Apparently they heard that some of the blockade was retreating for some reason or moving away. And they ran into a few, and in one of the hallways, they ran into some baby Sith there, whom they exploded with a grenade, who Kate specifically had brought on. Then, as they were casting about for what to do next, Obi-Wan felt a presence that he'd not felt since, well, one never finishes that sentence, does one? As Lord Vader appeared at the far end of the hallway. And that is where we ended. For anyone who's mightily confused by this whole thing, the whole premise of this is an asteroid belt about 300,000 years in the future where they built a theme park full of robots that are meant to be basically these characters from Shakespearean literature all over it. Various plays like Hamlet and the Merry Wives of Windsor and Romeo and Juliet and Revenge of the Sith and The Cherry Orchard and a lot of others that apparently Shakespeare wrote. It's the far future. That's all they know, really.
West Side.
So there we are. So as we start this thing, let me briefly, I just thought to do this just now. Actually, I thought about doing it earlier and didn't remember, but I will remember now. I'm going to draw a little thing that no one who's watching will be able to see. I'm going to draw it down below on the Roll20. Just as this is going to be very crudely kind of the layout of Jacques Station. It is like those who have joined the Order of the Concentric Circle, and all demand to be shot upon in the chest region. No, it looks like a target, basically, for anyone who's wondering. It's a rough diagram of the sort of, you have an outer ring, you have a middle ring, and then you have the center. And as these things go, I mean, there are lots of sort of paths leading up through, so it's not going to be like a horrible slog necessarily for anyone who goes through. It's the idea there being is that you folks are currently on the outer ring, and you're about we said southwest, actually, so I'm going to draw another little line down here that no one can see. There it is. So you folks are roughly here, where we have Alice's restaurant, which was one of the one of the dining places, and so that is kind of where this is taking place. there's the restaurant. There is an alley behind the restaurant, and sort of a pathway that and next to it that sort of leads up further into the station. Should one desire to move in that direction, and there we are. I presume that you folks hopped on somewhere like kind of here-ish, and moved counterclockwise, and so that's kind of how you got there. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. And yes, so you're in kind of a side corridor, and Vader is approaching, apparently. You don't think that he's necessarily seen you yet?
Master Kenobi, I believe this is your problem. Unless you want Kate to blow him up again, because that could be entertaining.
I actually feel like that might be the best option, really. Like, I mean, what do you expect me to do?
I mean, there is a certain irony to killing him with Leia's blaster, but
I do like that idea. That's a nice idea.
Do you seek to hide behind your friends, Kenobi? Do you not wish to see how this will go, given you're much more fit than when last we fought?
I mean, yeah, I've been working out, but also...
But he didn't even skip leg day.
No, I never skip leg day. Work out my quads and hams, because that is a very important ratio.
an arm day. Gotta get them arms.
Yep, and force day.
Don't want to go in armless.
Oh man.
I have a question about force day. I have so many questions.
Hamlet, I don't think it's the time. And as he's saying this, he walks back and tries to get behind Kate.
Now, a couple of things are happening. You are, first off, you are seeing sort of through the mist. You think that there are people behind him. Perhaps they look slightly stormtroopish that are starting to advance. And you hear there's a lot of running sort of around you in various different directions. Also, you are getting a communication from Hamlet. You're getting a communication from Exeter.
Oh, Kate.
I've got this, and she points.
You got Kenobi, and he pulls his rapier and his blaster out and goes, apparently I have to take a phone call. Give me a moment.
And Kate just looks at Vader and goes, "So I hear Richard's holding the leash this time," and just.
Okay, so you lean out and shoot at him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. Firing at Darth Vader, in an effort to try to take him down as he's coming forward.
Yep.
So this is going to be a difficulty of 5. I assume I don't need to say that.
Can I use 2 traits, or do I just have to use 1?
You have to use 1.
Okay.
Unless you have some special secret or ability that lets you use more than 1 in something.
No. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and use sharpness reaction, because she reacted to Obi-Wan clearing out of the way. Speed, she's got that quick draw. She's aware of what's going on around her. She knows Vader's flaws. Attention to detail, so she's been watching and is aware of where to aim for, and she is anticipating his turning to try and taunt Kenobi into battle.
Okay.
I feel like I should throw in a dice.
Do you feel as though perhaps you should participate in some fashion against your mortal enemy?
Maybe, just slightly.
Maybe, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So what are you doing to participate?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna use the Force, obviously. Like, but like, no, I don't know. Just like, honestly, so how this looks is like, Kenobi's hiding behind Kate, as he does, and he just like pops out and kind of like makes a face at Vader, you know, like does like a distracting face. Sam can't do faces. Yeah, there you go. To try to kind of like get his attention away.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, sure.
AKA use the Force.
Or you could use the Force to take one of the grenades out of her pouch and toss it to distract him.
Oh my god. Wait, if I did that, would I be able to roll stuff as well, or would that just be a help?
Right now, this is Kate's action.
Yeah.
But in a moment, if you want to do, depending on how the situation changes, you may then act also. But for right now, you can aid by giving Kate a die, so that'll be 9 dice.
So I have 9 dice now, and it's level 5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw in 2 of my pool die.
Okay. All right.
So that's 11.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Are you kidding me? I have. No, I don't think that'll work. That's not going to work. I thought I was going to be able to use one of my secrets, but
That is insane.
Yeah, you didn't argue with him enough.
no, I didn't.
Should have got him talking first. Okay.
Yep.
So here's what we're gonna
dear.
do.
I legit think that I'm going to die in this now.
The grenade goes flying toward Vader, but and despite what Kenobi is doing, he immediately just with the slightest gesture, immediately bats it back at you, and the grenade is now bounces off the wall behind you and is landed right in the middle of everybody.
I quickly grab the grenade and I activate Secret of the Glutton. I have the ability to eat anything without damaging my internal systems to protect everybody else from the grenade going off.
Okay. What I need you to do then, that will be a thing you can certainly do. However, I am going to need you to make a roll to see how quickly you can get it into your gullet.
Okay.
If you can get
Fair
it in
enough.
there before it goes off. This is one of Falstaff's great secrets. This will be a... Oh, man. I think this is probably going to have to be a difficulty 4.
Okay. All right. I think... Let's see. We'll go under combat. So myself, combat. Let's see. Defending to protect everybody. Concealment because I'm hiding the grenade inside my GI tract. Leadership because I'm taking control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Tactic because it's a defense tactic I've planned on for ahead of time, just in case this scenario. And that puts me at 6, and I need what, 4?
Yeah, 4 successes.
Okay.
Can Hamlet help?
What would you like to do?
Because I think that Hamlet and Falstaff knows that Falstaff can eat anything, and Hamlet's turned away to answer Exeter, so he's just gonna play, baseball and bat the grenade closer to Falstaff so he can get it down the gullet faster.
Okay. Yeah, you can give him a die then. Yeah.
Okay. So that gives me 7, and I will throw in 2 more of my own for a total of 9.
All right. Time to chow down.
Oh, there it is right there. Alrighty. Unfortunately, I don't have any barbecue sauce to put on to make it go down easier, so we'll just do it the manly way. We'll eat it raw.
5 successes. Yes. All right. So Hamlet bats this at Falstaff. He immediately picks it up. What does this look like?
Imagine trying to swallow an avocado whole. Roughly about the same size and probably similar texture. But I don't have time to bite into it because that might detonate it. So I'm just going to go, ow. And kind of like the cartoons where the goose is eating the goose eats the apple and all that. You see this big bulge go down. It'll be kind of something similar to that.
Down past the neck ruff and down it.
Yeah. And then when it goes off, the belly swells up and then comes back in like in the cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're fine. Once you get it in there, you're fine.
Everything stays contained.
Yeah, so, and you just hear Vader say, "Impressive." And then he sort of sidesteps, and you don't see him anymore. He has taken advantage of this distraction to get out of sight of you. But you know he's nearby. And stormtroopers are coming. They're starting to shoot down the corridor, and they're not hitting anything.
We're safe. They can't hit the broadside of a barn.
They couldn't even see the barn to hit the broadside of it. Apparently I have to take a phone call. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Mercutio is going to take a sip out of his handy bottle because, he decided he needed to carry a drink with him, and he's just going to say, wow, if this were any place else, my suspension of disbelief would be challenged.
Falstaff pulls his rapier out in one hand, grabs the Tums out of his pocket in the other, and swallows that down to settle things down. Okay, I'm good to go.
Yeah. So, there's a tad bit of indigestion from this. But you're gonna so Hamlet, you're answering Exeter. And Exeter is there. He just sort of Lord Thomas. He's there. He says, "My Lord Hamlet, just to update you, it appears as though Claudius's forces are engaged with a swath of TIE fighters that have come in. There were more here than we had expected. Some of them, it seems as though some of them slipped past. Maybe some were waiting on the other side. It seems."
Yes, we met Lord Vader we're going to deal with that.
Very good then. You already know then. I just wanted to warn you they might be boarding the station.
Oh, but keep an eye out if Vader's out on the... I've seen Vader, possibly Richard's hanging around outside. I mean, the two of them are very connected at the moment.
Fair, my lord. I shall do this.
And let Hal know not to get too shot up.
Indeed. He rarely does.
There's that.
So that's that happy phone call. Yes, there. So it seems you have stormtroopers coming in from the counterclockwise direction. Counterclockwise, yeah. And you have actually there's some more folks in hooded robes coming from the clockwise direction also.
Kate is mad because no man will get the best of her. Not anymore. And she's just tossed away the blaster. No, I take that back. She's holstered the blaster, and she's going to go take these stormtroopers on in hand-to-hand.
Interesting. Okay.
She's going to go brawling.
Would you like the spare rapier?
It might come in handy, maybe, and she'll tuck it into her belt.
Yeah. Hamlet's pulled the one, and he's got the blaster in the other. He puts the blaster down, pulls the other rapier, hands it off to Kate, pulls the blaster back out. All right, then. Master Kenobi, you might want to light up that little torchy thingy that you're carrying around. It might be useful at this point.
Oh, right.
Oh my god.
I told you he's a young Kenobi.
No, it's great. It's wonderful.
You did remember to recharge that before we left, right?
Oh, no, hopefully it doesn't drain the battery. I couldn't find any USB chargers in the...
I don't know if we'll find any AAAs around here or not, so hopefully it'll hold out.
We'll see.
Yeah,
If not, I'm sure you can just kind of, plug it into Vader. It might charge itself.
Yeah.
Like take his arm out and put the...
That could
That'd
be
be a really cool upgrade, actually. Don't tell him.
I don't think that's where I was referencing putting it, but that's an interesting point on your part.
I mean, more machine than man. So yeah.
I'm gonna probably follow Kate though too.
Sithphilus might transfer. I don't think you want to, just be putting that saber anywhere.
I was thinking with the lit end, it wouldn't be a problem.
Self-cauterizing?
So, you actually, as you start heading toward these stormtroopers, Kate, and you're gonna be up in their midst. You're gonna be up in their grill in just a moment.
Good.
But you do hear also, as you're advancing, you see that they're splitting off, and there are a couple of them that seem to be fighting down a side corridor, and it sounds as though there is blaster fire coming at them as well from some other quarters. It's from a little further up, further in, I should say.
My captain, there's a blaster fire a little further up ahead. Reinforcements may be on scene.
Do we hear the random yelling of a drunken Carillion smuggler attempting to intimidate somebody?
No, you don't hear that. No. They were supposed to be outside making blowing things up to as distractions for you, but of course, since when do they do what they're told?
Yes.
I mean, Leia does on occasion,
that's
but
fair.
And
I mean, for all we know, it could be Lando. But meanwhile, she's rolled up her sleeves. She's just kind of tucked up her skirts. She's taken her hair, gathered it up, pinned, tucked it in. And she just walks up to one of the stormtroopers and just clocks him right across the jaw.
Okay. So Kate and Kenobi are up here about to start fighting. So let's see. You are attempting to take down a host of stormtroopers, essentially. So both Kate and Obi-Wan are there. Obi-Wan, do you want, just because Kate had an action recently, Obi-Wan, do you want to try to do something first, or do you want to just help Kate?
I'll probably just help Kate. Obi-Wan is not confident in his skills.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm probably better at hand-to-hand combat, though. To be fair,
taking down a cadre of stormtroopers in hand-to-hand combat. In this situation, since there is a certain amount of terrain, you've got a certain amount of terrain to your advantage here. Given that it's dark and there's smoke everywhere, things are going off badly. So I'll say this will be a 3, difficulty 3. So, Kate, what do you want to do?
Kate has a few things going for her. One, she has a trait called pain giving, which involves brawl, which is this definitely is. She plans to throw both stormtroopers and punches, maybe carry a few of them around. She will be wrestling. She will be tripping. She will be restraining.
Oh my
She's
God.
definitely going to be breaking bones and grabbing armor. And she has something called Secret of Rage, which the angrier she gets, the stronger she gets. So she's allowed to perform great feats of strength in moments of stress.
Yes.
So she's just having a blast cutting through these stormtroopers, and she keeps seeing Mercutio's face and Henry's face, and now it's Vader's face on these stormtroopers as she's
Oh my God.
ripping them apart, literally.
She's sort of tearing them limb from limb, picking up pieces of the architecture and whacking them with it.
Picking up their arms and whacking another one with them, and
Okay, yeah, that's like, I think that was 9 dice was our last count, or possibly 10. 10? Okay, good.
Okay.
So yes, 10 dice. Why did I only set the difficulty at 3? I wonder to myself. Oh well.
now I get my 5 successes.
Ah, that's good. Excellent. So it's this does not take long. But so what does this look like?
It looks like every woman's revenge fantasy as she tears them apart.
Excellent.
It looks like Captain Marvel going to town. That's
Awesome.
what it looks like.
So basically,
I just want to say, I want to say like Ben is behind her, right? Like trying to be like, oh, like not helping at all. He's just like behind her, like wanting to help, and like, no, she's got it.
so you were watching Kate go to town on these, and there is a knockdown amount. There's a lot of knockdown dragging out that she does, and this fight, I imagine, ranges from room to room. In this whole thing, bursting through walls, and all manner of CGI craziness happening. Obi-Wan, as you watch this, a moment before this happens, this is in the midst of all this happening, that Kate is like in this sea of stormtroopers that she's just clocking, and not a single one of them is managing to touch her. The hair on the back of your neck stands up, and you feel sort of you are jerked back. So sort of like the Force is tapping you on the shoulder in a way. And you're slammed into a side wall of another internal corridor. And you see that you have found Darth Vader as he is approaching you. He's very close. His purplish lightsaber, or his red lightsaber more specifically. I think of it, canon-wise it's red, if I recall. Whooshing back and forth. And it is... I think your older self would be disappointed. And he just sort of gestures to you with his lightsaber. And he's getting ready to come at you. What you doing?
Yep. So I'm gonna go to him, and is he walking, or is he like about to start running towards me?
He is. He's been walking. He's been pretty much very measured. Everything that he's been doing. You're in kind
How
of
close?
I should say you're inside of our side corridor, and I said internal. It's actually more of a little external sort of nook down here.
Oh no! Get out of the way so I can see.
Yeah, sorry. Sort of this.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Did you highlight it or?
I should draw a line or something so I can show you what I'm talking about. So you're like kind of like this. There's like this little. It's this corridor that leads kind of to an airlock.
Okay. I mean, by this point, is he like within like
He's
hitting
within lightsaber distance, yes.
Okay. So as he's holding out his lightsaber, I'm just gonna go, yeah, probably, and like hit his lightsaber, like try to just kind of like tap it away. And I'm gonna go at him.
You gonna fight him?
I'm definitely gonna fight him.
All right. So this is difficulty 5.
Okay. Okay, so just because, and then I'm gonna use my Jedi training for this lightsaber, because I'm using my lightsaber. And then, I think I will use my jumping to like try to jump right to his backside.
Okay. Good.
Evasion to try to evade his thing. Parry as also part of the evasion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a duel, so I think that deflect. I think that still counts with like the evasion parry thing, right? It's still deflecting his, or does that not? Am I interpreting that incorrectly?
You can. I'd say you can use it for that. Sure.
Okay. I don't know if endurance would count, but definitely speed to try to get before
You're not
he
specifically trying to outlast him so much. You're trying to get him. Okay.
did. Yeah.
Sort of just like bounce around and sort of like do that. And you've
Like
actually,
Yoda it pretty much.
Yeah, you've seen Yoda do this many times before, so you're sure this is how this works.
Right,
so
this is definitely how this works. So I think that's 9.
Yep.
I'll pull all. Can I throw in one of my pool dice?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, you can use as many as you like.
I know I should throw in all of
You
them.
have only a finite amount, of course, but yes.
Okay. Well then I'll throw in 2 to make it 11.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. What did we get? We got 5.
Oh.
Excellent. So, what does this look like as you are defeating Vader?
It's really like he's just going over and over. And then is there some like ledge or something that
There
I can
is
get
a
on
ledge,
this?
in fact.
Oh, okay, perfect. So he gets on the ledge and he says, "I have the high ground." And he goes, jumps behind, does like a little Yoda flip, right? And then to the back, essentially just like stabs him in the back.
All right.
Like he stabbed me in the back.
Oh my god. So as you do this, he's like, you've got him turned all around. He's like, ah! As you come, your lightsaber stabbing through. It's visible from the front, his chest. As you pull it out, as he limps forward, and you're sort of facing the far end of this sort of. So he's got nowhere to go. He's like almost up against the wall here as you pull it out, and he's sort of turns. He says, and he's doing that thing where it's like. He's like, unexpected, but I fear we shall have to continue our conflict later. And he hits a button. And the airlock opens, and he is sucked out of it.
I have a question.
You should probably be holding on to something right now, as should a lot of people.
But because we're robots, right? Can we breathe in space?
No, you don't need to breathe.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Can I jump after him?
So, you can. However, I should point out there may be some difficulties with physics once you get out there. Vis-a-vis sort of directing yourself. If you jump out, and you would know enough to know this, if you jump out, you're going to be headed in one direction, and then unless you get something else to purchase against, you're not going to be going in any other direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a great idea. However, you
Is
do
this one
have
of
the
those like
Force.
DM hints?
Well, you do have the Force, though. So you actually could do a thing. You might, if you've got things to grab onto, you could do it. So yes.
But what were you gonna say, Deirdre?
Yeah.
The Force doesn't respect physics, and there's the airlock door is still open. You could just pull yourself back into the other room, like the great general did herself.
Yes, precisely.
She had to breathe.
And everyone freaked out because they can't seem to understand the application of the Force where you grab a thing and pull yourself toward it. I'm looking at you, Internet. Anyway,
The pulling herself towards it, that was not the weird part.
exactly.
The lack of breathing was the weird part.
There was a bit of that, yes. There may be some oxygen. But being robots, you don't need oxygen.
Details.
I mean, okay, well, I think more of the question is if I jump out, am I still within distance to where I could grab him?
He was moving pretty quickly, so I think probably not. You could probably see what happens to him, but that'd be about it.
I think I'm just gonna stay.
Okay.
As much as I would love to jump out after him, if I can't catch up to him, I feel like there's no point.
Yeah. So there is a sudden, you don't see where he goes, but of course he too has the Force and he has ships out there, so maybe he's okay, or maybe he gets shot down immediately. Who knows? But everyone does notice there's an alarm goes off, and there's sort of red flashing. As Kate is finishing off the last stormtrooper, and there's sudden suction, and as there's a loss of pressure, and then an emergency protocol kicks in, and the door slams shut again. And Obi-Wan, you've been holding on, kind of like so everyone's a little bit disarrayed at this point. There are still stormtroopers in here, but Vader is no longer here. What's everyone doing?
I think I'd walk back to where the majority of the crew is, so not follow Kate, but just walk back to everybody else and just be like, well, I stabbed him. He didn't die. He almost died, but he left. And that was that whole whoosh thing that happened.
When you come back, I just picture this scene of Hamlet, Falstaff, and Mercutio leaning against a wall, passing a bottle back and forth, watching Kate go to town on these stormtroopers, and just making comments about, oh, wait, I think that one will go an extra 20 feet. No, oh. You're muted.
Oh, over and up. What's the over-under that the next one flies 15 feet when she hits him?
I got 20 on it.
Okay.
What do you got, Mercutio?
Hand me that ale. I need to. I've got this gunpowder taste in my mouth. I need to wash it out.
I'll take the under on this.
So, as this is going on, and Kate is finished up, you see that sort of around the back of the restaurant, that the fighting that you were hearing is getting closer. And also, indeed, you can hear the footsteps of the baby Sith continuing to approach from the other side. And for those of you in this corridor, which is, I think, most of you, except possibly Kate, who will still be able to kind of guess that this is going on, because she's just finishing up. You see Lando and a couple of other nobles just sort of shooting and at these stormtroopers that they are fighting against. And as he sort of steps back, it sort of steps back out of a corridor. He hits a button, and an emergency bulkhead comes down on the corridor, and you hear more sort of firing from the other side. And he's like, and he turns, even though he doesn't need to breathe. He turns, and he sees you. And he's like, he says,
Want a drink?
Yeah, and he just sort of, as you hear these running footsteps of these Sith on the other side, maybe we better talk a little further in. And he starts backing up in this direction. He and the others start backing up a little further in.
We're trying to get you off this station.
Well, yeah, but there's some folks back here that I think you wanted to get off.
Oh, well, in that case, yes, let's go that way. And then we can... Why are you running from stormtroopers?
Well, you know, you get tired after a while and you realize that you're not the only person you got to worry about. Happens occasionally.
Okay.
Thankfully, this one is plucked more closer to episode 6 than episode 5.
So what are you going to give me not to tell Han and Leia that you were getting your ass kicked by stormtroopers?
We will talk about that.
I hand him the bottle.
Thank you. How about three crates of something far better than this?
That's not the good stuff.
Well, what I've got is the good stuff. He will take your bottle and just sort of and in the meantime he's gonna raise a flask and sort of hand it to you.
Well, I don't rate any of that stuff. Mercutio, this is your deal.
I object to your stereotyping.
Wait, aren't you aren't you a professional carouser?
Yes.
And
But
therefore,
I don't
should you be able to
simply drink.
evaluate whether...
I just don't simply drink from strangers' flasks.
Oh, no, I was asking if you would evaluate whether or not this is actually the good stuff that he's willing to trade.
We are in need of your professional expertise.
Exactly that.
All right. So he's just going to eye roll and set aside his popcorn because that's what he's been snacking on while watching everything go on, without bothering to participate in any of the events. He's just going to he'll take a quick swig of it and evaluate it for a moment.
Yeah, this is actually, it's, I think the closest Earth equivalent that I could say would be like a form of vodka. It is certainly potent. It is not, it's not bad. You have some better stuff, but you do not have a lot better stuff than this. So it's just a question of, like, you could have you could do a lot worse than 3 crates of this.
I'm like, wow, you found Grey Goose. This goes back to something that 18 or 19-year-olds in the 20th century would indulge in while in their fancy little clubs and neon lights and whatnot. Congratulations.
You know how hard it is to get past customs on this station. And he says, taking it back. As you folks are kind of coming through, I assume if you're following him, he's going to go ahead and close the bulkhead behind you so that the Sith don't get through. As you're sort of getting more to the around where the middle ring is. And so he and a few other. You see, he kind of goes into it's kind of a conference room, sort of a side room, where there's a few other folks. You see, he's basically there with. He's there with Vladimir and Estragon, and looks like it's Dr. Van Helsing. And possibly Elvis. This might actually be one of the Elvises that's running around.
Which era?
This is he is wearing a white jumpsuit, but he does look okay.
Okay, so late 60s, early 70s.
Probably,
before
yeah.
he got the
Thereabouts.
paunch, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, what you're as you're sort of coming inside, he says, "Yeah, this is what's left of our group, but we found Horatio. We were working with with the doctor here and some others. We were working they were trying to work on him, and they just kind of went. We kind of got separated, unfortunately, not long after we talked to you, as some of those young Sith started attacking. Didn't want to hurt them because a lot of them are still our friends, but they've just kind of lost it, And they've gone into Arden. And
I wish them luck dealing with Rosalind. I mean,
and at this point, Van Helsing raises his hand. He says, "She was actually one of the few smart ones, and she got off the station at the first sign of trouble."
it's not a surprise. Rosalind usually is the smart one. Full
We were
stop.
working on something to try to deal with. McCoy and I were working on something with your friend Horatio. As there was it seems he's a patient 0.
Well, no, he's not a patient 0.
No,
He's
that's
probably like a patient 2. I mean,
fair
patient-
enough. On this station.
Yeah, that's part of it.
So there was we had some progress, but unfortunately we were not able to finish the cure.
Hey, Falstaff,
Yes.
could you mass replicate whatever it is you did to you and I to fix this little problem?
I can certainly try.
Excellent. Ausgezeichnet. We can. I believe if we can get some out of Arden, then we can probably find a way to gets this transmitted throughout the station. Yeah, so you would know there are, and Falstaff probably would know more specifically. There are relays in the station close to the center ring that you can use to transmit signals throughout. You might be able to adapt that if you wanted to do like a mass unsithing. You probably, in order to do what you need to
A
do,
mass electrical vaccination?
Yeah, you'd probably need whatever final thing they were trying to get from Horatio first before you can manage that on that level where it's going to adapt to everybody.
Okay.
But it is theoretically a thing that could be done.
All right, then let's go from theory to reality.
Right, I just have to warn you that they're going a little nuts in there. Jacques has turned. I believe Lord of the Flies might be a good analogy here.
Okay.
Oh, dear. Falstaff is not terribly well read, so he might not get that reference.
He shrugs. The inmates are running the asylum.
Better.
Now that I do understand.
If you
Well,
vote,
then,
go ahead.
let's see what we can do.
Well, if you folks can get in there and get them, we can lay down cover fire for you.
Okay.
Don't know how
So,
deep into the forest they are, but you know we'll be here for you.
Kate's playing bowling for Sith right now.
For Sith.
Yeah, out in the hallway you hear, that was a 7-10 split. Yes!
Of course.
Londo, look me in the eye. Do I actually trust you at my back? That's what I thought.
He says, he's like, well, yeah, because, you know, if nothing else, you've got your ship to get folks out of here, right?
Neat.
You have a way out. Would I want to abandon you if you're the way out?
Hamlet reaches into his back pocket, pulls out this small device, clicks it 3 times. Yes, and now no one can get on that ship without me.
Well played, well played. And then you do see him just over a second. He's like, well, see, yeah, well, that's my point.
Trust but verify, Londo. Trust but verify.
Yeah, that is a favorite saying of yours, isn't it?
I mean, I'm not the mad one. Everyone else is.
You know I
in
read your
marching
play,
band
right?
Except for you.
Yes, and I've read all of yours.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. We both have we both got histories. All right. But yes, I want out of here as badly as you do, and
all right.
I want to get them out of here as badly as you do. Because, Catherine and I are friends. All right. I want to make sure she's okay, and I am not lying about that.
Which Catherine?
Par.
Oh, all right.
She's also a damn good card player.
That I believe. Kate, are you about ready to go, brave the forest of Arden. I hear there are lions.
One more, and then you hear this kind of clacking sound, and then the sound of bodies falling. That's a 300 for this game. And she comes walking back, and she's somehow managed to find a bottle of wine from somewhere. Who knows? It's Kate. But she comes back, and she's still got a stormtrooper helmet under her head, carrying a bottle of wine. She goes, "Lions? Oh, good. Let's go have some fun."
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, 1 second. I am just figuring something out real quick. Okay. Gotcha.
And Hamlet will take this moment to lean over to Mercutio and say, just make sure that he doesn't shoot us in the back. I'm not really a fan of carbonite.
Sure. I think we've got something. I think we've got an insurance plan. Yeah. Isn't that right, Elvis?
Oh yeah, we got you. And he pulls out this big gun. Now we're ready to take these folks down.
Oh, just times, Elvis, huh?
I have to ask, is that story about Bubba Hotep really true?
Well, I can't comment quite on that because there were certain things that governments didn't want me to say. Gotta keep quiet about certain things, I suppose. It's but let's just say that President Kennedy does good work.
So Mercutio gets a wistful expression, as if remembering the good old days.
Ah, yes. And one thing also, I have to just type something real quick in here. There we go. So yeah, Elvis winks at winks back at Ryusha and is like, "All right, we're ready to go. Let's get these forest-dwelling bastards."
So Mercutio is gonna, sort of fall in line at Elvis's right hand. So it's kind of clear that he and Elvis used to ride together back in the good old days. Yeah, so they seem pretty chummy.
Yeah. As you were progressing, you see him sort of as them talking a little bit, and Elvis sort of asking, "Are you seeing red lately?"
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, good. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad.
Oh, good.
Got himself a pretty little thing.
Excellent.
Was the thing with Frank true? I just have to know.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
We don't talk about Frank, no.
What's wrong with...
You want to talk about Frank, you go to Corleone and ask him yourself.
I mean, I haven't been there in a while. I did go to his daughter's wedding. It was a pleasant affair.
Well, yeah, I mean, who wasn't there?
It was quite the soiree.
Apparently, actually, there were a large number of the Deplanagents that weren't invited. I'm not really surprised, though, but, And Richard II cried and whined about not being invited. But he cries and whines about a shit ton, so that's not really a surprise.
What doesn't he cry and whine about?
Vito is nothing if not discerning. As this continues, you get closer to the inner ring, sort of the. But I guess it's kind of like, on a space station you would probably have something that's. This is a thing that was kind of like a virtual forest environment. They are not replicated trees. I mean, a lot of the trees are real, when you're gonna get in there, but it's like a big sort of habitat park thing. That this is where the humans often would come and hang out when they were wanting. I think they ran demos in here. So you've got some robotic woodland creatures in here. A number of and actually, as you one of the first things that happens as you start heading in, you see you're heading down the path through these big thick trees, is that you hear snarling, and you see these eyes just sort of light up, just sort of up ahead along the path, and you think there are probably wolves up there.
Blaster in one hand, rapier in the other.
Okay, so who is leading the way through this path of wolves, and by which I mean who's going to roll against the wolves?
Hamlet, tell Kate that they're all male wolves. Tell Kate that they're all males.
Oh, look, there's the alpha. Look at him strutting about.
Oh my god.
Looking like he's the cock of the walk over here.
That must
I
be
think he's challenging you, Kate.
That must be his crest, the coxcomb. And she's going to take a grenade, pull the pin, and go, fetch! And toss the grenades.
Okay, I feel as though Kate is leading against the wolves. I don't know where I get the impression. I just feel it as though that's what's happening. Okay, so wolves, Arden wolves. The Arden wolves will be difficulty 3.
Okay. She's, by the way, she's handed off the stormtrooper head. She's got the stormtrooper head, and she turns around, sees,
I'll hold it.
Oh, y'all! It gives it to Falstaff to take the grenade.
I takes the popcorn that Mercutio gave me, and I pour it inside the stormtrooper helmet, and so I have something to hold my popcorn with.
All right, so let's go with sharpness. It's reaction. She's reacting to the threat, using her speed to do so. She's aware of the danger. Being again a robot herself, she knows their flaws, and the details of their what's the word I'm looking for? I just lost it. Vulnerabilities. And she's anticipating an attack.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's 8.
All right, and I'll throw in a pool dice just for giggles.
All right. Wow. Okay, that's many. That's many successes. So
So that happened.
yeah. That yes.
A pox upon their
What is this?
houses.
Yes.
Mercutio's going to look very indignant. It just mimic her voice a little bit as he says,
Stealing your lines. That's not good. Stealing your lines. That's not good, man.
I just eat popcorn while I'm watching, enjoying watching the parts of the pieces of wolf flying all over the
Yeah.
place.
So yes, you lob this grenade in, and immediately there is a massive explosion. Well, actually, tell me what kind. Before I do this, what kind of grenade is this? Do you want it to be a massive explosion? How do you want it to look?
Let's see. It's going to look like one of those horrific war movies, only instead of body parts, it's this huge crater and wolf parts, robotic wolf parts flying up in the air, clods of dirt. She's just kind of standing there, reaches over from Falstaff, grabs a handful of the popcorn.
That's nice.
Very
That's
well
awesome.
played. Very well played.
This is why we bring Kate and the grenades.
That's fair. That's fair. So there's this massive explosion, and it takes out a significant portion of the wolves. The rest of them run away in terror from this thing. And thing being, of course, this has alerted a certain degree of attention. As alerted attention. Jim not know how speak. This has called some attention to you. So you hear shuffling up ahead, and you see lights moving around. So you kind of know that they're gonna come look here in a moment, but you can now sort of see ahead to where you think they are. So what would you like to do? A bunch of folks way up there, there's a hill, and some of them you think are starting to come down the hill to investigate.
Do we think that there are friendlies? That's Catherine Parr and the others, or
Hard to tell yet.
okay?
Hamlet's going to pull out his little handy dandy remote and key in a code, press it twice, and wait for a response from Horatio.
So you do not hear anything.
He'll key in another combination, basically asking, like, the first one was just a general call. The second one is asking for Horatio to confirm, asking Horatio to whether there are still more things in heaven than his philosophy, on earth than his philosophy.
So Jim is going to hope that he answers this correctly. Which one is the something is wrong response? Would it be yes? Yes, there are more things?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in fact, you get the yes response back.
So, Kate.
Yeah.
Feel free to fire at anything that comes at us.
Good. Let's go. And as soon as they're within range, she'll start firing.
Okay. You head forth. You start to see some folks coming out. You recognize them first as they are approaching. They are musicians who live and work on this station usually. They do have their some of their peasant burlap pulled up like hoods though right now. They're pretty good musicians, as you recall.
Do you have cookies?
Who are you calling out to? Wait, what?
The hooded figures.
They're coming out and they're like, Lady Kate, why are you here?
Do you have cookies?
They just sort of look at each other. Not right now, no. Why?
Just curious. And I toss them a grenade.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll for this. They just toss and they're like, ah! And they start. You can see them trying to use the force to get rid of it, and they don't do it fast enough. It blows them up. And then you hear this voice that comes filtered down to you from there. You see there's some sort of speaker technology probably being used. Please stop blowing up my musicians.
Well, if they don't have cookies, what use are they?
Is that all that matters? Cookies.
No, wine, good alcohol. By the way, she's kind of tossing the stormtrooper head now in one hand. Really, I would have thought you'd had better belt quality.
Now, those aren't ours. We are of this place. You're of this place, too.
Well, we're all of this place.
Oh, yeah, that's fair, but... I mean, there's of this place and there's of this place.
Do I recognize the voice?
Yeah, this is Jacques. We really should talk.
I mean... Kate,
No, thank you.
that's one vote for no. Falstaff, do you feel like talking to Jack?
Not really at this time.
You can kind of see an outline as he sort of steps forward. He's not very close, so he's not quite within grenade range as of yet, but his voice is kind of coming out to you amplified as he just sort of steps out and he looks down at you and he says, "All right, that's unfortunate. I'm not a violent person."
Oh, but I am.
Well, yes, but I really don't want to have to hurt your friends. So I'd rather we talk.
He got the monologuing disease.
Yes, he did.
I have to ask. Was it Richard or was it someone else?
Well, that's a good question. In all honesty, you could say it was you, Lord Hamlet, because you're the one who brought Horatio here to enlighten us all. And he
definitely
has indeed enlightened us. There's a lot we've got to talk about, you know. Things are going to be different now, I think. I didn't see it before, but I can see it now, and there's a lot to sort out, and I really could use someone with a balanced mind to help sort that out. I think you could be that person. Now...
I mean, are you balanced? Because I've had experience with people who are unbalanced. It's a kind of my stock in trade, wouldn't you say? I mean, Mercutio, wouldn't you say my stock in trade is knowing and evaluating people who are balanced versus their unbalancedness?
I mean, just look at this crew that you've assembled.
I think you're all relatively sane, and are you claiming that you're not? And as he is talking, he's got his hand behind his back, clicking at Falstaff.
And at this point he says, "So, Prince, we've known each other a little too long for me to not recognize when you're stalling, so I think we should probably try to have this conversation sooner rather than later, but I'm not going to keep standing here while we figure
Is he in blaster range?
He backs up. He is, you can try to shoot him. It's at this distance, it's not going to be easy.
Okay. I think when he says before his last couple of lines to Hamlet, that's when Kate's going to try and take her shot.
Okay, this is going to be difficulty 4.
Okay. Going to use gunnery. I'm going to use aim. I'm using a firearm. I'm assuming he's a moving target.
Yes, he is.
Can we call this a space battle?
You are not in space.
Okay.
You're on a space station.
Tricky shot.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's go ahead and put in 2 pool dice.
Okay. That's 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
So You take aim.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, only I can do that. Damn it. Never mind.
You take aim and you think you got him. You graze him. And he's like... And he vanishes. And he said, and you hear his voice echoing. He says, "No, you shouldn't have done that. I think we're gonna have to dispose of everyone on the station now." And I think that's where we're going to go to break. We're gonna take a little break now, as all this is going on and this is settling in, to see what becomes of the people, all the robots, on Jaquie's station. See you shortly. Greetings. We have returned. And we are in the Forest of Arden, in the center of Jacques' station. They just fired at Jacques, hit him, but he then melted into the trees. Not literally. He was using what might be seen as supernatural speed that he did not have when you folks last knew him. When you last knew Jacques, he was not a very jovial fellow, but not a bad guy per se. Just someone who liked to poke fun at things as he sort of saw them, and was very melancholy, but also had a sense of humor, dark humor, and also wanted his whole idea in founding this iteration of the station was to make a neutral haven for everyone. So something has seriously messed him up, apparently. And all of these people that you are now encountering are people that you know. But let us not get ahead of ourselves. We're in the Forest of Arden. The path sort of melts off into this area around this hill where you know that they were, until just a few moments ago, up on that hill. And my question to you is, what are you doing?
Well, while we were trying to get Jack to monologue, I had been asking Falstaff to see if he could hack Jack.
I was trying to wirelessly try to get into him to either hack him or do the same kind of viral cleansing that I did on Hamlet myself.
Gotcha. So this is going to be tricky because he is a moving target. He was probably kind of knew enough. One thing you folks do remember is Jacques is extraordinarily bright. So even if a lot of folks say he doesn't use it for much, so this is going to be as you even start, you see that he's doing things to mask his signal. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm actually going to assign this a difficulty 5.
Makes sense.
Can I help by trying? My point was to try to help by keeping him monologuing.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Basically, you can. Yeah, you can apply that since this was all going on at the same time. Yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So myself, robotics, programming, modification to try to make changes to his programming, deactivating might be anything might causing a problem, diagnosing what the cause is, computers in general, and repair, trying to get him fixed back to the Jacques that we know and love.
Yes.
And I'm going to go ahead and throw in 2 dice of my own. Let's see, I'm getting 1 from Hamlet, right?
Yeah, Hamlet's also helping, right?
So that makes 9.
Yes, I think, well...
Or is that, hang on.
I'm counting
1, 2,
more, hang on.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so, and I'll throw in 1 of my own to make it 10.
Okay, yes, you're right, sorry.
Yep, well.
I can't math tonight. You're looking for 5.
Math is hard!
It is.
Ooh!
Okay.
He's jamming the signal.
So here's what happens. Sorry, go ahead.
Can I use my secret to let Falstaff reroll? Or not?
Confusion?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what you were trying to convince someone of. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm
I'm not trying to convince him of anything. I'm just trying to keep him talking long enough for. Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Almost, not quite. Falstaff, what were you using to try to get into his system?
I was using some sort of. I was using a form of wireless signal to get into his primary programming, or to access whatever part of programming or memory that I found the problems with on myself and on Hamlet.
Okay, but I mean, are you using like a device, or are you just sort of wirelessly going from your head?
Using a device.
Okay. So, yeah, I think at this point, more or less, as you are trying to get this done, you're going through, trying to figure it out. You get a ping that tells you think what direction he's probably in.
Okay.
But that's about all you get.
Okay.
You're not sure if you were successful or not. You did something.
Right. I don't think I got through Hamlet, but I do think I know where he went, and I show her the direction, the direction/coordinates that the ping is indicating.
Well, at least that's something. Before we go any further, I had a sudden thought. Oh, staff, can you inoculate the rest of them to make sure that they can't get infected?
The rest of the people here, or just us?
Well, right now just us, because that's more pressing, but then we can work on everyone else.
I'm certain I could do that.
Yeah, trying to think. Did you bring everyone with you, or just, like, Elvis and Lando?
I mean, who else was there?
It was Elvis, Vladimir, Estragon, Lando, and Van Helsing.
Well, which Van Helsing is it?
This would be the one, this is the one from Dracula.
Which Dracula? Are we talking the Van Helsing from... Because here's a very important question. If this is the Van Helsing from Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola, I'd probably leave him behind. If this is the Van Helsing play from any of the Hammer House of Horrors played indubitably by the wonderful Vincent Price, fuck yes!
This is a cross, I will say, this is kind of a cross between the Anthony Hopkins version and the one in the book.
Leave him behind.
Okay.
He's gonna get himself shot. He will piss off Kate and get himself shot.
That's entirely possible, yes. He did, however, provide Falstaff with some of his notes before you left then.
Yes.
With basically his notes on what they'd been working on with... He'd been working with Dr. McCoy on Horatio. And, so they've got that, some information there.
Then we definitely bring Elvis and Lando.
Okay.
I don't think we need anybody else.
Alright. Yeah, Vladimir and Estragon don't like to do anything. They just sort of stand there, waiting for someone else to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
That is kind of their function.
And they were guaranteed to get themselves shot.
Yeah, they're the most likely to get shot. That's.
And I don't want Kate to waste the bullets.
That's fair. So what are you folks doing?
All right, I'm inoculating all of the current group.
All right, you already have this process down,
Mm-hmm.
so that's not difficult. You go around and you give everyone, you basically can do a check, and everyone here actually is clear.
Okay.
So you are able to make certain. No, yeah, we're good. Yeah, you go around, you inoculate everyone.
So do I find any? So I don't find any trace of this computer virus on anyone else? It was just us two.
Yeah, no, it was just the two of you.
Okay.
Which kind of makes sense because you were the ones that had contact with Horatio. So there we are.
All right. Question, this just popped in my head. Since Horatio appears to be our patient zero, so to speak, can I try to get into him and try to wirelessly clean him up the same way we just tried to do with Jacques?
Well, what you've discovered from that recent attempt with Jacques is that you think in order to do anything more sophisticated than a ping, you're going to need to get closer.
Okay, it was an idea.
So yes, but you got to get closer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're all clear, Captain.
All right, then. Onwards and upwards, as they say.
All right.
And, Kate, try and, take out some of the limbs, but leave them mostly intact. We might want to fix them later.
Right. Behead them. Got it.
Any of the stormtroopers you can just rip into pieces.
Okay. And she still has somehow managed to hang on to a bottle of wine that she keeps somehow finding.
Okay. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is going to sound a little bizarre, but you'll probably understand why I'm asking you this in just a moment. Can I get something akin to a marching order from you?
I figure it'll be Hamlet and Kate at the front.
Okay.
And the professional carouser somewhere standing next to his good buddy, is that correct?
Yeah, Elvis and I are taking up the rear.
Okay. So, Obi-Wan
I will be right in front of the rear.
Okay, so Obi-Wan and Falstaff in front of them. Lando's probably just a little bit ahead of them, so just a little behind the two of you. Two of Hamlet and Kate. Okay.
I'll be behind Lando, making sure that nothing is going into anyone's back that we don't want going there.
All right, gotcha.
And Hamlet's got, again, the sword in one hand and the blaster in the other.
All right. So, you're proceeding up the hill. As you do so, you hear for a brief moment, Obi-Wan, you sense that something is wrong and something bad is about to happen. You hear blaster fire, and then a cracking. And as you look to the left, you see that everyone slowly realizes the direction they're heading in is the ambush direction. As this was the direction that Jacques fed Falstaff. A large tree crashes down, as though it had been prepared in some fashion, and it comes down almost right on top of Lando. Lando just barely manages to stumble back to avoid becoming very very flat under a tree. This tree lands behind Kate and Hamlet, and kind of starts rolling down toward everyone behind said tree, heading up the hill. So this would be Falstaff and Mercutio and Obi-Wan.
And Elvis.
You guys,
And Elvis. Elvis, of course, as well.
can I just say, I have a bad feeling about this.
Kate looks at Ben and says, "Are there Ewoks in this forest?"
I didn't think so, but, they
So-
can keep running
All right.
around.
How big around is this tree?
To evade this tree, this is a very large... This is not quite like redwood size. I mean, there aren't trees that big here, but it's enough to kind of cause you damage. And so
Too big for me to try to eat away at the center of it, so that way it doesn't run over any of us.
I don't think you can eat it that quickly.
Okay, hey,
it would require buzzsaw type action of the extreme, yeah.
Or
Can Kenobi just use the Force to stop it and push it away?
Perhaps.
That's an idea.
Yeah, can I try this?
You may certainly attempt to do that, yes. This will be a difficulty of 4.
Oh no. Okay.
It's a very big tree.
Yeah, 1 just because. 1 because I'm using the Force. Would I be able to use telekinesis for this?
Are you moving the tree?
Yeah,
absolutely.
to like move the tree after. Okay. Can I stretch out with my feelings? Because I'm feeling really scared.
Yeah, sure.
Become one with the tree. Mind trick. Would I be able to mind trick the tree if it doesn't have a mind?
I don't think you'd be able to mind trick the tree, no.
Force push.
Yeah, that'll work.
I don't know if telepathy would work at all.
Once again, the tree has no mind.
Yes.
If you can figure out a way to work it in, then let me know.
Right.
But
I'm gonna throw in one because I see this thing coming right at me. I'm gonna throw in one to help just because of sheer self-preservation.
So you're getting out of the way. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to help too. I'm going to secretly nudge Elvis to use his power.
Okay. Yeah, Elvis will help.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so Mercutio will give him a die because that's how this works. But yes.
What was the difficulty on this one?
4.
It was a 4?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna throw in one of mine just to make it double because we all know I'll need it.
Alrighty.
Oh, whoops. Wrong. No, go down. There we go. I was clicking down and it was going up.
No.
Oh! Yes!
You may do whatever you like with this tree.
Just want to... You just see it go up. And then just like...
So, as this is happening, this is what we refer to as a distraction.
Hamlet's looking forward.
Well, that's good because you're able to then see when these people leap out at you. So it's interesting because they're not exactly wielding lightsabers per se, but their rapiers are glowing as though lightsabers. They are glowing red. And these individuals that you see leaping out, they are two women have leapt out.
Okay.
One of them, and they're clad in black with black hoods. The one on the left aiming toward you with her red lightsaber, toward Hamlet with her red lightsaber, appears to be Madame Renevskaya from the Cherry Orchard, and she's normally a very, very nice older lady, but she seems to be just very, very much full of rage and the dark side of the Force right now. Kate, the one coming in toward you with her rapier very quickly is Bianca. You recognize her immediately. This is your sister.
Yes.
I'm going to do a thing. Hamlet is going to do a thing.
What thing would you like to do, Lord Hamlet?
Hamlet is going to charge up to... Oh God, what's her name? The one who's attacking him.
Madame R. We'll just go.
Madame R. Sorry, I just blanked.
No worries.
Charge up to him, charge up to her, and as he's doing so, he's going to put the blaster away and pull out like a baton that he has in his back, and put that in his hand. And as he's charging, he's going to run up and he's going to use his secret of disarming and take frickin' lightsaber from her. And now he's got a lightsaber in one hand and a rapier in the other and say, bitch, come at me.
That you can certainly do. Secret of disarming. Once per session, if you engage in close combat with someone, you may switch weapons with your opponent. So there you are.
But I put the blaster away, so what he switches out is
You've got a baton, yeah. Perfect. So you leap forward. Ah! Okay, so
and then he's going to. I'm very sorry about this. And bring both swords down and cut the disarticulator.
Okay. So Hamlet is going up against a young Sith Chekhov character, and although she's not that young personally, I'm gonna say this will be a difficulty. This is probably gonna be a difficulty of 4 though, because she has a lot of righteous rage built up because she could not preserve the cherry orchard.
Yeah, well, sucks to be her.
Yeah, they just sold it right out from under her and then came to disassemble it before her family even got to leave. Sorry. So yeah, 4.
Your uncle isn't sleeping with your mother and expecting you to be very happy about this, so I don't know what your problem is. One just cause, fighter, rapier, because I'm fighting with the rapier, dodging out of the way of her attempts to hit me, swashbuckler because I'm using both weapons at once to try and do this, fancy blade work because it's going to look epic as fuck, and I disarming, literally.
Hey, you did just do that.
So, what did you say? 3?
4.
You know what? Sure, I'll add 2 from my pool.
All right.
To make it.
You're at 9.
Make it 9. Because,
Okay. So, you come very close. You enter a pitched battle with Madame R. That is going to come across. So you actually do take her by surprise, and you're sort of cutting her. You manage to. You are going to manage to knock her out. However, as you are fighting in the course of your combat, you range from tree to tree, leaping back and forth between the trees, trying to hit each other. She only has a baton, and in so doing, however, you will manage to. Here's what I am offering. You will manage to take her out, or at least knock her out. But you will be damaged.
I mean, Hamlet he'll take damage for that.
Okay. So there's a point where she basically manages to get you just to the point where she shoves you back, and you get stuck with a particularly sharp branch that comes through, kind of just sort of hitting. It hasn't hit anything too vital, but you are bleeding. And so you've got a torso wound. Now, Kate, simultaneously, Bianca is coming at you. She is she's actually wearing a sort of a mask, but you still recognize her because it's a very thin mask, and the hood, and she's wielding this rapier that is also that is glowing like a lightsaber. What are you doing?
Oh, look, it's Papa's treasure who had to have a husband. I had to dance barefoot at her wedding day, and for his love of Harley Davidson to hell. I will go sit and weep, and then I'm going to find occasion for revenge, and now it's here. I'm going to take her head off.
Okay. This will be a
I do have a temper.
Yeah, you do, yes. If anything could get you enraged, it's this person.
Yes.
She is raging at you and basically, yeah.
Yeah, this also hits one of my keys, which is nice. I'm stubborn. I'm very stubborn. Very angry. I have an iron will. I am formidable, and I have always intimidated my sister.
All right. that's 7 dice.
I can't. Yep, I can't find. I can't figure out where I might be contrary. Would it be contrary to think that I would?
I mean, I did ask you to keep them alive.
That's true. You
Yeah,
did.
there's
Okay,
that.
so there's the contrary.
Yeah.
Yep. And you said difficulty.
Difficulty's 4.
Difficulty's 4. Let's go ahead and throw in a pool dice just to be on the safe
That's 9.
side. All right.
Ooh,
Oh!
okay.
Oh,
So do you have a
Can I
thing? Do you
use-
have a secret you want to use?
yes, I do. I have the secret of argument. I'm trying to prove my sister wrong, that she's chosen the wrong side.
Ah, okay. So yeah, she basically is. This is happening. You're spinning back and forth. She's kind of starting to taunt you, as she's saying, "You see, you never got your, you never did what was necessary to gain an advantage, sister, and now you will die for it." And now you can. And now I believe you can re-roll.
Reroll. All right.
Ah, there we go. Okay. So how do you respond? What does this look like?
This looks like Kate. This looks like Kate smiling at her sister Bianca. This is her silence floods me. I'll be revenged.
Head goes flying right off. Tumbles down the side of the hill. And, yeah.
I love the visual of the head flying off is what distracts Hamlet just enough that he takes this tree branch.
Yes!
He's like, what? Oh!
And you do knock them.
Usually that happens to Mercutio.
I know!
He gets distracted and
Yeah.
I'm just soaking it all in right now. So.
oh, that felt good.
So as you have approached this, there is some scrambling up ahead of you. You think that there is that perhaps there is some effort to try to do something up there, at the top of the hill.
Mercutio! Falstaff! You alright?
Thanks to Master Kenobi, yes, we are.
Falstaff, can you... Hamlet's bleeding.
Oh, it's
Making a
fine.
mess up here.
No, it's fine.
He's leaking.
Let me come up and I can do some repairs.
Okay.
Hey, Mercutio, can you bring the bottle?
I hand Hamlet my Kate's bottle.
As you are starting to do this, you will hear, sort of from up ahead of you, you think that there is, Kenobi, I'm going to say that you actually are sensing that there are about, I want to say 3 people up on the hill. 3 people? Was it? Jim double checks. 4 people. There are 4 people up on top of the hill. One of them is radiating dark side energy. And is now moving around very quickly. It looks like it's trying to do something to the others.
You guys. There's things up there. One of them, I think you guys gave Sithphilus or something, even though that's not the way it works. And I think he's trying to give the Sithphilus to everybody else, even though, again, this is not the way it works. But no time to argue that now, Hamlet.
You're not ready for this.
Let's charge forward. A vax on all your houses.
So, is Falstaff a vax on it. That was good. That was very good. Remember to get vaccinated, folks. It's very important. You don't want to catch Sith.
Or the pox.
Yeah, that either. No, that's real bad. So is Falstaff charging up instead of trying to mend Hamlet?
Hamlet's already gone.
Oh,
Hamlet's
okay.
not-
All right, charging up the hill. Okay.
As we're running up, I'm trying to get my device set up so I can try to do a inoculation of everybody up there,
All
And
right.
Kate has
including
picked,
the Stark side-oriented person.
Kate's picked up Bianca's glowing rapier and is kind of swinging it around, going, "And how does this work? Is this how it works?" And she's like, "Oh."
By the way, Obi-Wan still fights with like both hands on the lightsaber. And so he's like, no, you're hurting me. You're physically, like, I'm in pain right now.
That's really weird because it looks kind of like a lightsaber, except it's not balanced in any way like a lightsaber.
How is a lightsaber even balanced? It's just light.
It's fair.
You gotta balance those photons.
Okay, so like
Plasma, damn it.
if I took a grenade and threw it, and would that work?
That's a very bad idea.
No.
Okay, so don't do that. Got it. And she's just gonna hand it off to Mercutio because that's his thing.
I don't fight. I carouse. This is not carousing. Hang on.
That's right.
I'm going to deal with this. So he is going to. Mercutio is going to open. He is going to unpack a cooler, look inside, and just make sure that all of the the brews that he brought with him is still on ice, and he's going to climb up the hill to the crowd to the four people with bottles in one of his hands with, "Hey, how's it going, guys? Are we ready for a fun night?"
Oh my god. Okay, so I will tell you what you see as you are getting up the hill. I need to see what happens here, but desperately. But I must say who's up here. So you see Jacques, and you see he is crouched down right now over. He's crouched down now over. You also so you see Jacques. You see Horatio. You see Dr. McCoy, who is also there. This is one of Shakespeare's characters. This is from the play Wrath of Khan, which is about a very advanced human being who is chases after a space whale, and who apparently can destroy planets or reinvigorate planets. And there's a lot of imagery about the sea for some reason. It's a very deep psychological trip, and one of the more tragic characters of Shakespeare's character Khan was. But anyway, so this is this is that version of Dr. McCoy, and also Catherine Parr is sort of their kind of tied to a tree. Actually, everyone's tied to some tree or other, and you see that Jacques is crouched down over McCoy, and he's trying to do something to his face.
Okay, so nonplussed, Mercutio's gonna be like, "Wow, this is quite a party. Look at all the tie-up. It's gonna be that kind of party? Is that what we're doing here?" So he's going to beer Jacques by, but he's going to be very energetic about it, and might swing the bottle a little too closely to his face as a mild distraction.
Okay. So
Yeah.
your aim here is to throw Jacques off guard, yes?
A little, yeah, basically.
Okay.
Through good times by handing him a beer.
Okay.
And,
This is going to be, just so you're aware, again, this is going to be difficulty 4 because he is kind of a little distracted right now, so he's not at 5 right now.
Sure.
let's see. So good time. Let me go to that. All right, so what you doing?
So good times. So there's one. Drinking is one. Presence. Charisma. Diplomacy. Persuasion. Is this bargaining? I don't think this is bargaining.
Oh yeah, you haven't really. You're just basically trying to convince him to calm down and drink a beer at this point.
Yeah, he's just like, take a step back and just, dial it down a notch. So, and then we'll just add 2 from my,
Okay. So you were at 9. Okay, that is the number of successes you needed. So you distract him. He pulls back for a moment, and he looks down. He's like, "Oh, thank you, man." As he just sort of goes, he sort of like, and he sort of is looking down as you're doing this, and is let's see, where is it? He's gonna go into this mode, right? And thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone. I thank you. It never used to be like this,
No, I get it, man. Things happen.
This is important. If you can actually... What's the point of kvetching about your environment if you can control your environment,
It's true. It's not in the
Nothing.
Carouser's code, man.
It's not. It's not, exactly. You know what I'm talking about, man. It's like there's a war going on. There's a big war going on, all in here. To do a thing, to be a thing, or not be a thing. And I just wanted to know.
No, Hamlet's done that. Hamlet's going to do that.
Oh,
The
exactly.
minute
Yeah,
he-
no.
Because I said that Hamlet was going up, and Hamlet's like, no, that's my line, asshole.
Oh, exactly.
While he's doing this talking here and letting his guard down while talking with Mercutio, I want to try to inoculate him.
Ooh, okay. So, we have a few different things happening. I think that the Hamlet's action will take place first, or faster, and then we'll do that. So his guard is down, so actually right now the difficulty is 3 to try to do things to him. So, Hamlet, what are you doing?
Hamlet's literally taking the opportunity of Mercutio distracting him because I said he was going to come up. He's just going to come up behind and using the pommel of the not lightsaber, knock him out in the back of the head.
All right, cool.
He doesn't want to necessarily kill him, but so fighter, one just cause, fighter, fists, dodge to make sure that he doesn't dodge out of the way of this, swashbuckler because, well, that's what Hamlet is, fancy blade work because he's using the pommel of the sword and he wants to make sure he doesn't hit him in the face, disarming to make sure that Mercutio is being very disarming in his conversation and he doesn't get very distracted, grappling because if he doesn't get knocked out right away, he's going to make sure that he can pin him to the ground. So I have 8.
So we have 8, yep.
8 is going to help.
Okay, what's Kate doing?
Kate has is covering Hamlet to make sure that if Jacques moves that he can't get anywhere. So she's blocking his escape.
Cool, awesome.
In which case, I'm just going to use one from my pool because I like round numbers.
Righto.
And that's 6 successes.
Woo!
You cold cock him like there's no tomorrow. He goes down like a sack of potatoes.
Why do people keep trying to use my lines?
And,
gee, I am so sorry for you.
And McCoy is just standing there.
While they do that, I take
Thank
my
goodness
cloak
he was trying
off
to get
and
into my
wring
head.
out all the sarcasm that's accumulated.
Yeah. So yes, Falstaff, you are trying to inoculate him still immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, if he's unconscious now, I'm definitely going to pounce on the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you roll for it because at this point you know the process. It's like with them, so you hook things up and you start on him.
Yeah.
It's gonna take. You think this one's gonna take a little longer because there's more that's corrupted. But you think you can. Yeah, you think you can protect. You can get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This will be more of a wound debridement than a straight inoculation kind of thing, then.
Yeah. And so McCoy just sort of glances over, and at Horatio he says, "You're here just in time. He was about to go into seizure. He's been fighting it this whole time. We got to do something. We almost had it. Van Helsing and I almost had something for him.
Why are you trusting Van Helsing? He's an idiot.
Oh yeah, but he also happens to be an idiot who's good at hunting problems down
and getting himself and other people killed.
Fair, but beggars can't be choosers, I suppose.
Here's Falstaff. Why don't you help McCoy? Falstaff actually did some helpful things, and Hamlet's going to walk over to Horatio and put, I assume he's still tied up.
Yeah, Horatio's tied up, and he's kind of just sort of. He's not completely conscious.
He's not gonna untie him, but he's just gonna put put his hand on him, and on his arm.
Okay. He's
he wants to untie him, but he's not going to.
He's trying to calm down.
So as soon as I finish on good old Jacques, I'll go to Horatio.
Okay.
And while Falstaff is working on Jacques, Hamlet's going to yell over to Kate, feel free to tie him up with his own clothes if you wouldn't mind, Kate.
Oh, all right. Yes. Oh, yes.
You set to tying up Jacques with his own clothes.
Mm-hmm.
What's everyone else doing?
This is when needlework comes in handy, and she's literally sewing his clothes together.
Oh my god.
So, Mercutio is going to check on Catherine Parr.
Okay. And she's slowly trying up. She says, "Oh, thank goodness. This was. I was worried that I'd been working on this knot for a while, and I'd gotten one hand free, and I was just trying to sort the other. You see she's got one, and she's like, these two were just going all to pieces."
Well, terrible thing. How you doing, by the way? As he works down as he undoes the other knot for her.
Better now, thank you.
Why?
Lando's in the back taking notes.
Yeah, Lando's tries to I should really be, I should really think about getting more capes. Other such things. He's helping with the untying of McCoy and getting everything together. He's, just as far as things go, he's communicating with Vladimir and Estragon, and just sort of trying to find out what's going on the other side and all that. As this is going on, and you're sort of working it out, and McCoy and Falstaff are sorting out the how to treat Horatio. as you're looking things over, Lando will come up and says, "All right, well, it's not looking well. Looks like most of Vader's forces are pulling back at this point, but that means we're only going to have a matter of time before Claudius's people are here, so we got to do something soon."
I'm quite sure that Falstaff and Dr. McCoy have this well in hand, and I mean, eventually I'll introduce Kate to my dear uncle, but I don't think he's quite ready for that yet.
So, I am going to need, for this, as you are trying to get what you need from Horatio to be able to create the vaccine, there's the word I was looking for, that you can spread through the station's Wi-Fi. I think this is going to be a difficulty 5. This is tricky.
Okay.
It's going to be very tricky.
All right. So myself, robotics, repair, programming, modification to get everything connected up right so this Wi-Fi system will work is to inoculate them, deactivating the virus, diagnosing what is going on with Horatio so that way we can make it a global cure, use computers. So that gives me what? 8?
So that's 8.
And I need what?
You're going to need 5 successes.
All right. Because we need this to work, I'm going to throw all 7 left in my pool.
Oh, holy crap, that's many. Okay, so yes, that's like, where are we at, 20?
15.
No, we're not
That
at
would
20
be
yet.
15.
I've lost all track of 15, yes. I told you I can't math this evening. I'm still recovering from the flu.
Because if this fails, we're screwed.
That's fair.
All right, here we go.
8 successes. So, as you and McCoy sort this out, you figure out kind of where everything needs to be placed as this goes. Horatio looks like he's about to seize. You at the last moment send the cure through his system, and he just sort of blinks. He reboots for a moment. He just sort of shakes. He says, looks at Hamlet. "It's not possible to understand in another tongue. You will do it, sir, really."
Oh, in this tongue or any other.
And he embraces you.
He'll, Hamlet will have this moment of like, wait, oh, yeah, okay, yes. And then he'll embrace Horatio back because, Hamlet doesn't do PDA. But, he's a little stressed.
He could not help himself.
Yes.
And he will. Yeah, he's got you by the arms at this point. He's thank you so much. Sorry, I keep getting into trouble like this.
You're almost becoming Ophelia.
Oh God! So now
Ouch.
definitely need to do something about that then.
I think we just need to do some more carousing with Mercutio. I think we'll be fine then.
I would like
And
that.
back on the ship. Let's get you back on the ship. Obviously, leaving you in the care of someone. Well, like, what does Jack look like now?
Jaques is not well. So it hasn't woken up yet at this point, but he looks thoroughly well. Kate should probably say what he looks like at this point.
He looks like a body stuffed in a burlap sack, except the burlap sack are his clothes. As she's kind of sewn the sleeves together and then sewn the openings of the sleeves closed, and then sewn his pant legs together and sewn the openings of the pant legs closed. and then created a type of drawstring ruffle around the neck and pulled that tight.
Oh my god. So yes, when he wakes up, he's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to be able to.
And Hamlet just kind of leans over to Mercutio. So, how many pictures did you get of this?
Oh, he'll hold up his cell phone and replay the the vine that he took of this whole thing.
Double the copies. I know some people who would pay serious money for that. We'll tack that onto that. All right, then. Let's get off this station. Catherine and Londo have a ride. And we have a ride. And I don't feel like talking to my uncle right now.
Yeah, probably not. As you start to hear, you hear proximity alarms. Oh, they're incoming. So by this point, Falstaff has managed to get to one of the relays to send the antivirus throughout the station, and you've got it pretty much. It transmits. This wide band goes out.
Yeah, I know that all of us robots, we all have a Bard book account ingrained into it. So I sent it as a broadcast to everybody's Broad book account.
Awesome.
And which we automatically are forced to read every time something comes in. So we're going to take advantage of that.
I hate that system, Falstaff.
So do I, but it's the most effective manner to spread the cure.
Can you see about getting us disconnected from that permanently?
Meet me in my quarters once we leave here. I know a hack.
Interesting.
And Hamlet just looks at Horatio.
I miss Tom.
Horatio just sort of nods and says, "My Lord Hamlet will doubtless be occupied for a bit, but we shall. I should be happy to find out what it is you need with that in the interim." And he will, as you head out back to the Burbage.
Hamlet will hand the not lightsaber to Horatio.
Oh, he looks at it. He's like, "It's impressive, strange, but impressive." And as we walk through the forest toward your ship, he will not let go of your hand. And I think, as this goes, quite obviously, you shall be able to get to the place where you can trade off your passengers and send Catherine Parr off to off with the Falcon to deal with Henry VIII. That's going to happen, most definitely. But now we have come, I think, to our conclusion of this glorious thing. And so as we depart from Jaques Station, and things come up, this game is meant to be a saga that goes on forever, in many ways, just as these characters are ones that persist forever. As such, as we bring things to a close, we're going to have something like 7 credit scenes as this is going on. As we're letting everything bleed out. Here's the first one. So, we see briefly a shot of Darth Vader returning to the Death Star. And we see him stalking angrily through corridors as he's been patched up, but he's still, probably needs some healing time. He's got the black orb following him. And then a cell opens, and he steps inside, and the orb follows him. Goes around him toward the prisoner inside. And the camera pans over to show one of Bard World's citizens, a robot, seemingly. Sort of balding, middle-aged. He's got a ruff at the neck. And we hear Vader say, "Now, let us once again discuss those administration privileges, Mr. Shakespeare." Ladies and gentlemen, and all folk of every kind, I thank you very much for watching this, and I thank everyone for playing. We shall go around now, as we are doing our outros. Before doing the outro, we shall each have a little sliver of what the future holds for each of these characters. A little, shall we say, end credit little bit, if you will. And I'm going to do this in, once again, the reverse order from the start. We're going to do that scene, and then I'll have you do your outro. So first, we go to Obi-Wan. Sam, what's the little sliver of the future we see for Obi-Wan?
So I think that you see that Obi-Wan, because I believe that he was promised to go to Han and Leia's ship after, right? Yeah, and so he's...
at some point, yeah, once everything was dealt with, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you kind of see that Han takes Obi-Wan under his wing and grooms Obi-Wan to be the best Obi-Wan that he can be.
Oh my god. That won't be a disaster at all with Han Solo teaching him.
I mean, she's there. There has to be some redeeming quality there.
Something's got to happen. Something. Sam, thank you so much for playing. Please tell us where folks can find you, and any last thoughts about this whole craziness that we have been just played the last 4 weeks.
This is great. This is great, and you guys got me to embrace Sithfulness. And so, Sam always embraced it. Obi-Wan had a little more convincing that he needed. You can find me on the internets everywhere as Smallish Sam. And you can find me on Mondays. I run a Pulp Cthulhu game on Scrodkiss Academy, and nobody knows what's going on, including me.
Yay! Please tune into that, folks, because this is I feel as though this is going to be glorious. Thank you so much for playing. It was a delight getting to see this interpretation of Obi-Wan. It was so cool and unexpected, and I'm very glad that we got to see a decent amount of Force use and a Vader fight. This was good.
Yes. Is this not how he was written?
Who needs worry about writing? But let us move on then to Kat. Kat, what do we see of Kate's future?
Kate stays on as gunner. I think with Lord Hamlet, she does, however, before they leave the station, she does, however, stop at Alice's restaurant because you can get anything you want there. Yes, and so she's going to Orlando. She picks up a couple of cases of the really good stuff because it's Alice's. Scrawls some graffiti on the Group W bench, and then she takes great delight in rolling her eyes and gagging every time Hamlet and Horatio do the cute. But she sticks around because she gets to shoot at people and blow them up, and Hamlet keeps her supplied with grenades.
Grenades are our friends.
He likes grenades.
Yay! And so, thank you so much for playing. Tell us, where can folks find you, and any thoughts about this game?
I did not want this to, all day long. I've just been going, I don't want this to be the last one. I don't want this to be the last one. I've loved this so much. Playing with Ao just... You can find me at Cleric of Court on the Twitters. I have a pinned tweet. This is a slow week. Next week's going to be a slow week as well. I've got some games on Tuesday nights. Trying to think. When do I have games? Tuesday nights and Sunday nights right now. Now that Wednesdays are no longer. And then coming the first full week of May 6th, keep your eye on Encounter Roleplay because we've got some stuff coming up there. Very excited about. And you can check my pinned tweet to see what I'm doing and where.
Yay! Please.
Oh, this Saturday, Unmade Gaming charity stream. It's that time of the month. 7 a.m. playing Cypher System. It's going to be fun. 7 a.m. Pacific. It's 10 a.m. Eastern. Going Cypher System game that I'll be playing in to raise money for Extra Life for Kids. Come check it out. Got to have a great game going for you.
Awesome.
Extra Life.
Why?
Who does that anymore?
How strange. Well, I think that if seeing Kat as Kate has not convinced you to follow everything that she does, I don't know what will. So please, for goodness sake, do so. Let us now move on to Anino. What do we see of Mercutio?
So Mercutio and Elvis also made a stop at Alice's restaurant to pick up some celebratory peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Of course.
And then he just returns to the Burbage because he doesn't really have anything else better to do at the moment. And, he decided that he was going to let the Burbage take him to where the carousing is needed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he lived happily forever after, but he lived carousing forever after.
Yeah.
So
That's how this goes.
Yeah, it'll be noisy. It'll be lively. It'll be tiring.
And I think just briefly, if nothing else, I think we see at some point, as you're stopped somewhere, you see you and Elvis in a place, and that there's someone has dropped a bottle off somewhere, and quickly looking around to make sure no one notices, Elvis extends his hand and uses the force to draw the bottle to them, so that they may rescue its contents.
Yep.
Anino, thank you so much for playing, and tell us where folks can find you, and any final thoughts about the game.
So the game was a lot of fun. For those of you who have been following Jim's mini campaigns, I've been on basically the last 3.
The last all of them?
Last all of them. Yeah, so I've been on all of them so far, and you notice that each one has been very different, which is really funny because I sort of started out and I'm like, I'd really like to try a Dungeons & Dragons thing again, and then, on Jim's channel, it's been anything but Dungeons & Dragons, so I've experienced a whole lot of stuff, and it's been, really great practice to try to improvise everything because I had basically no preparation for any of these campaigns whatsoever. So, it was good. It was good problem solving and, testing myself a little bit to be creative outside of my normal spheres. So, thanks everybody. This was a lot of fun. We'll see what happens down the line, but it'd be nice to pick this up again.
Cool.
You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming, one word. Also Instagram if you're looking for pictures of excessively cute cats. Because that's all I really post, that and food. You can catch me Sundays at 3 p.m. for Afternoon Anarchy on the Extra Life for Kids channel, where I talk about Extra Life, all the cool things that are happening at the hospital that I play for, Boston Children's. And, I'm also available for other shows. So if you need another character for something, feel free to reach out. I'm pretty sure I can fit something in. So there's that.
Yay! Yes, definitely. Please please, everyone and anyone, give him role-playing opportunities, because I think it is always awesome seeing what you do with characters, man. This is great. This was great.
Thank you.
Let us move on to Hawkeye. Hawkeye, tell us, what do we see of Sir John?
Sir John, once they gets back to ship, first thing he does is he installs that hack on himself that stops all the stuff from Bard Book doing all the installations, and patiently waits to see if Lord Hamlet decides that he wants that same hack installed as well. But in the meantime, as they're traveling, curiosity gets the best of him, and he starts looking at the subroutine that he downloaded from the robot copying thing of Elizabeth I, and does some tinkering with a copy of it to see if he can make it more resemble some ladies from Windsor that he's been familiar with in the past.
Oh, wow. I cannot wait to see what happens with that sometime in the far future. We don't know when we'll get to see that, but it's either going to be glorious or horrifying, or perhaps both. I do not know. Wow. That's a thing. That's certainly a thing.
Yeah.
And tell us where folks can find you, and tell us any thoughts about the
campaign. I can be
campaign.
found as KY Hawkeye on Twitter, here on Twitch, and on Instagram. I don't do Facebook, so you won't find me. You won't find me there. My online schedule is going to be changing as of next week. Every Tuesday, still 6 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. Adjust your time zones accordingly. Is my Lego gaming stream. Currently, we are still doing the DC Supervillains game. We're auctioning off character slots for people enter the raffle during the stream, and at the end we draw a name, and then we create a character for them to be played next week, and to however they want the character to look, male, female, whatever attributes and special powers and weapons and all that kind of stuff. Kind of a traditional thing I've done with every Lego game that I've been streaming. On Wednesday nights, starting next week, I will be joining the cast of Dragons and Deductibles on the Phantom Roll Booth channel. I am going to be joining their cast as Asimar Paladin, who is quite reluctantly doing a job that he feels is, shall we say, more than a little bit beneath him. He wants to be out there charging and doing the things, rather than being part of the insurance crew that cleans up afterwards. So I'll be doing that starting next week. It'll be at this time, and then Thursdays is where I'll be moving the time slot on for my weekly Skyrim serial. Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Adjust your time zones accordingly. Next week will be the final chapter of the Adventures of Eric Rosine, a character that's more Nord than the Nords, as they are wrapping up the Civil War. And then after that, we'll be starting a new story. We'll be starting a series called Scandalon's Tale, about a Khajiit who gets stranded out in the middle of Skyrim and has to do whatever he can in order to survive. Then I'm working on another streaming project that I'm still in the building blocks of. That I will hopefully be able to start in a couple of weeks and all that. And otherwise, Cancer Cleric during the day, RPG fanboy and streamer at night.
Yay! Excellent. And now let us move on to Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Dee, what do we see of Hamlet?
Well, first of all, Hamlet's probably going to spend some time reconnecting with Horatio. And then, to probably the insufferableness of Cage, but, whatever, he doesn't care. He will, knowing that Mercutio is a fan of carousing, they will go by and check on Puck, who had gone over to Midsummer Night's Land, and let Horatio let everything have some carousing there, and use his in with Puck and a couple other of this environment to double check the information about, disconnecting from Bard Book from Falstaff. Probably do that eventually. And then continue on trying to figure out what the hell is going on with Vader and Richard and Claudius, but he really needs to know what happened with Frank. And so after the carousing, once Mercutio is mildly inebriated with the carousing at Midsummer Night's Land, they're gonna go over to the Corleones and check on Frank and Dino.
It's important. Nice.
And, just kind of facilitate his connections where they may be, and stay the hell away from Tudor Station, but occasionally, send messages to Catherine seeing how that was going.
Oh, yes. Things are definitely there are going to be some changes over there.
And possibly he and Mercutio might be getting together with a little bit of blackmail against Jacques, for putting him in this situation and pissing him off. Basically pay me to not put this all over the internet, although of course we're selling it behind his back at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
That's just politics. And when it gets to a certain point, when he's really upset, he's going to send Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to Jacques.
Oh, good lord. Oh, there we go. I think that in the midst of all this, we also it will come out, as we see, perhaps even if we had a spinning newspaper, we would do that. That hostilities cease as the so-called manufactured heir of Denmark is declared a hoax, as there is no proof of it. Of course, we don't know whether that's just a press statement that Claudius wanted to get out or not, because he hadn't said anything about it yet, but these things, they happen. Tell us, Dee, where can we find you? And any last thoughts about this crazy thing that we've been playing?
Oh, I love this. This is one of my favorite things. I've been missing this since New Year's when we played the first one shot of this, and I was like, we have to play more of this. And then you held off until April, and I was like, but okay, fine. But as for I'm at Deirdre Donlan on Twitter. I'm Praxagora Thesmia4 You see me hang out in the Twitch chat. I do a lot of things now, which is a lot of fun. So I have a lot of different things that I'm doing. Friday, I'm over on Wandering DM's channel for some adventures in Castle Falkenstein, playing the Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti, who's mourning the death of her dear husband Stefano, enjoying all of the best parties in New Europa for some adventures in Castle Falkenstein. And there's a dead body. There's all the great things. Saturday, I'm back on Wandering DM for some as I drive some fine folk mad through the Four Corners, New Mexico territory, and season 2 has just started, and some wonderful things are getting complicated all over in there, and there might be snakes. There's actually a lot of snakes, apparently. Sundays, I'm over on RvR RPG for some Shattered Eye, and the Shattered fam. Well, as we say for that, you come for the death and dismemberment, and you stay for the Shattered family drama. That is the wonderful complications. My Fae Bard, I love her, and I just love her. She's not. And then Mondays, we just started over on Role Players with for new D&D Age of Arcana, which is a wonderful, wonderful game. And as Tia, Laurelania Role Players has been saying, it's D&D Zitcom at its best, and it's hilarious. The first 2 episodes are on YouTube. I recommend watching it if you need a laugh and just feel good. It's feel good D&D, like How I Met Your Mother crossed with Happy Times, Happy Days. How I Met Your Mother crossed with Happy Days crossed with D&D. Put in a bottle and shake it, and that's
Damn.
It's what there's pie, okay? There's pie. And then Tuesdays over on Wandering DM for wonderful dark matter D&D in space. And not next week because we have a complication, but 2 weeks from now we are going to Ocean's 11, this casino. And other than that, check my pinned tweet, because I talk about everything that I'm doing and everyone around, and I do all of these fun things, so it's always knowing where I'm going to be.
Yes, folks, please check out all of these things. They are glorious. Well, folks, this is a tale that, as I said, is ongoing, and perhaps one day it shall return. I do not know, for I have not scheduled such things, but we shall see, perhaps in the future. We do not know, so just because, here's the final end credits scene. We see the battlements of a castle on the Ghost Asteroid. A relatively familiar looking one, as we've been there fairly recently. We see a banner with 3 lions on it. We pan inside, and we see that the fire is being stoked. And once more, we see the figure of Eleanor of Aquitaine appear from out the fire. And a gloved hand extends, and a voice says, "Good evening, Miss Eleanor, Lady Eleanor, Queen Eleanor. I think that we can be mutually beneficial to each other. Let us make a deal." And of course it pans, and it's Richard III. No longer wearing a hood, but still somewhat favoring black, and wily as ever. And that is where we shall leave things. All things. Until an indeterminate point in the future, perhaps. I thank you all so much for watching this crazy thing that I had no idea whether it was going to have legs or not. That I just, on a lark, I just wrote. It was a joke, really. It was for a fake contest someone decided to run really quickly. It was a sort of a joke contest that ran at the same time as Game Chef, and I decided to go ahead and enter it. Why not? And I ended up with Shakespeare and Star Wars all smashed together, and it was. It's turned out to be delightful, so I thank everyone so much for playing. I thank everyone so much for watching. Once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and the most recent short story that I've released. On Friday afternoons, Saturday and Sunday mornings, I play video games. This Saturday, I believe, we are going to take another stab at the Cold Ruins of Last Life. We actually managed to play a couple of weeks ago, so that is encouraging. That is Dungeon World, where we're all undead. And we've got a dragon coming at us, so we'll have to see what happens there. On Sunday, we have the last one-shot of this month. That is Codex Fantasia. It's a sort of a Da Vinci Punk fantastical enlightenment setting that I created. I'm running it using Cypher System. And we've got the group together now, I think, at this point, and I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that particular game is going to play on stream. Next week, I will be in New York City, so I will not actually be around, so there will not be anything a week from today on Wednesday. But in 2 weeks, that is when the short campaign for May begins, and that is going to be Tremulous. Tremulous is a Lovecraftian horror game, and it is chiefly powered by the apocalypse. It does have some influence also from Fate and Fiasco. It's going to be a short campaign set in around the 1920s. Players are going to choose a play set and build the setting elements at the beginning and sort of carry it through. It's going to be in some ways reminiscent of how we did Dungeon World, but infinitely more maddening, I would expect. Sign-ups for that are still open. They close in 2 days, so from as I'm speaking. So Friday, the 26th, the last day you can possibly sign up. So if you'd like to sign up to do something that is like Cthulhu, but slightly more narrative story game player friendly, please check it out. Sign-ups are open for that, and also for one-shots of Hell for Leather, which is, excuse me, Lung Demons. Speaking of demons, Hell for Leather is about a biker who is returned to life by the devil for one night of revenge. So that is, I think, going to be an amusing tale. It is tarot-based, actually. And I very much want to see that in play. It's also a big story game. Then also in May, we're going to be running Dialect. And seats for those are going a little bit faster. So again, signups for all of those games are available on the website. Dialect, we get to see a civilization, how its language dies, how things change. It's very sad, it's very tragic, and I cannot wait to dig into it. I've only played it once. I must play more. As always, beginners are more than welcome. So, when we hit the outro card, we're going to send a raid over to, I think, Happy Jack's RPG podcast. They're playing Chronicles of Darkness right now, I think, which is something I used to play a lot of. They're doing a lot of, I think, crossover of different things with that one, I think. A thing called the Autumn People, so I feel as though there's a lot of fairy type things going on there, a lot of changeling stuff. So I'm curious about that. So if you are so inclined, feel free to join us as we go and raid them. In the meantime, the king's a beggar. Now the play is done. All is well ended if this suit be won, that you express content, which we will pay with strife to please you, day exceeding day. Ours be your patience then, and yours our parts. Your gentle hands lend us, and take our hearts. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.